As an 80s kid, I grew up with several pretty good shows, even ones on cable, especially with this show, which I didn't watch all of it until just more recently. And I thought it would be the best time to talk about it right now. So, from the man who gave us the Muppets, the late great Jim Henson, get ready to dance your cares away, worries for another day. Let the music play. I think you know the rest. That's in this TV log. We're about to go down a Fraggle Rock. This is a Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews TV log. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome again to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. This is the Big D here. Today I'm going to talk about one of my childhood favorite TV shows from the 80s. And I gotta say, growing up with this show was a great experience. But more recently, I just finished watching the whole series for the first time ever. All episodes, all seasons, and had lots of fun going back to this place again. If you ever wondered what was going on behind a mysterious hole in your wall, don't worry, it wouldn't lead to anything dangerous except to maybe lovable furry critters. Well, they got some fur in them. And they just love to sing, play, and all that jazz. And one just wants to go into the outer world, which would be referred to as outer space, or go up against their nemesis, the Gorgs, or even their little worker companions. Well, maybe they are factory companions in ways, the Doozers. Well, you've got this show right here. So now, without further ado, I bring to you the one, the only, the original Fraggle Rock. Fraggle Rock was a fun filled children's TV series from the late great Jim Henson himself, after recently contributing his Muppets to Sesame Street as well as The Muppet Show. The show originally was a Canadian American production. It was shown up in Canada and was also shown in the US on HBO in early 1983. Now, of course, the series also is known as Jim Henson's Fraggle Rock, as well as on the title screen of the TV of the show itself, it's Fraggle Rock with Jim Henson's Muppets. It's actually a musical fantasy comedy puppet television series created by the late great Jim Henson. It follows a group of interconnected societies of Muppet creatures. Now aside from being shown in Canada, where it was shown on the CBC network and HBO in the US, it was also shown internationally on Television South in the UK, FR3 in France, and ZDF in Germany. It was shown probably others around the world. It was an international co-production of Canada, the UK, and the US. Produced by Henson Associates. Unlike Henson's previous attempts, which were Sesame Street and The Muppet Show, which had just ended 2 years prior, well, actually a year and a half prior, because this premiered on January 10th, 1983. Which, of course, those two had been created for a single market and later adapted for international markets. The series was intended from the start to be an international production, and the entire show was constructed with this in mind. At least 4 different versions of the human wraparound segments were produced separately to air in different countries. Now then, now the now the filming took place on a Toronto soundstage, and the and well, the avant-garde poet B.P. Nichol worked as one of the show's writers. In the early days of development, the script called the Fraggles Woozles, pending the devising of a more suitable name. According to Henson, he described the series as a high energy, raucous musical romp. It's a lot of silliness and it's wonderful. I couldn't agree more. Rest his soul, Mr. Henson. The program proved accessible to audiences of all ages, so not just to kids, but also to adults as well, and used the fantasy creatures as an to deal with serious issues such as prejudice, spirituality, personal identity, the environment, and social conflict. Now, in 2009, as part of the Jim Henson Foundation's donation of puppets to the Center for Puppetry Arts, the Atlanta Museum displayed many of the original puppet characters from the series in their exhibition, Jim Henson Wonders from His Workshop. Now, there were different. Now, of course, the live action wraparounds were actually done by different ways. In the original North American version, seen in the US and Canada, it features an inventor named Doc and his dog Sprocket. This wraparound was also used in other, well, other foreign, releases of this series in Australia, New Zealand, the Netherlands, Republic of Ireland, Scandinavia, Spain, Japan, and even Eastern Europe. Dutch, Scandinavian, Spanish, Japanese, and Eastern European shows were dubbed in their respective languages. Now, the British version's inserts were filmed first at the TVS Television Theatre in Gillingham, Kent, since closed and demolished, and later at their larger studio complex in Maidstone, and presents the series as a rock-filled sea island with a lighthouse. Exterior footage was that of St. Anthony's Lighthouse located near Falmouth in Cornwall. The housekeeper is the captain, a retired sailor who lives with his faithful dog Sprocket. In the third season, as the man who played him, Fulton McKay, died in 1987, the role was played by John Gordon Sinclair as PK, his nephew, and in the fourth and final season by Simon O'Brien as BJ, son of the lighthouse's owner, Mr. Birtwistle. In 2014, 35 of the British wraparounds were still missing, believed wiped, although subsequent recoveries have gradually reduced this number. As of December 2020, all 96 wraparounds have been found and handed over to the BFI, confirming that the entire UK production still exists in some shape or form. Nickelodeon repeated it in the UK from 1993, as did Boomerang and Cartoonito in 2007. The episodes shown were the original North American versions. Now, in France, the wraparound segments take place in a bakery with its version of Doc played by Michael Robin, who worked as a baker, and a French sprocket called Croquette. Doc inherited the home from his eccentric uncle Hordes. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, I don't know much French. Who was a noted inventor. Thus, when the frame story required the use of a mechanical device, Doc would find yet another of Uncle Horde's, or could be George's, I don't know, machines. Plot lines also frequently involve the elegant but unseen Madame Pontavin, whom Doc repeatedly attempted to impress and invite to dinner with no success. Not all of these 96 episodes were produced in France. The original French broadcast only aired the first 3 seasons of the series, lasting from October 16, 1983 until September 1st, 1986. In the German version, the action takes place beneath the workshop of the inventor Doc, played by Hans Helmut Dickow, and was filmed at FSM Television Studio in Munich. The series was named Die Fraggles, and it was broadcast on ZDF on November 12, 1983. Out of the 96 produced episodes in total, only 85 episodes were presented in German. The remaining 11 episodes, 3 from Season 4 and 8 from Season 5, used its original English audio. So I thought I'd give you a heads up on that, but now let's get into the real story. Now, the Fraggles, reside in the mysterious place with all sorts of caves known as Fraggle Rock. Now, there are 4 main intelligent anthropomorphic species in the Fraggle Rock environment. They are the Fraggles, Doozers, Gorgs, and Silly creatures. Now, the Fraggles and Doozers live in a system of natural caves known as Fraggle Rock that are filled with all manner of creatures and features, and which connect to at least 2 different areas: the land of the Gorgs, which they consider part of the universe, and our world, which is dubbed outer space. Now, one of the main themes of this series is that although the three species depend on the other for their survival, they usually fail to communicate due to vast differences in their biology and culture. The series mainly focuses and follows the adventures of five different Fraggles, each with their own personality. Pragmatic Gobo, artistic Moki, indecisive Wembley, superstitious Boober, and adventurous Red. Some of the characters' names are film industry in jokes. For example, Gobo's uncle, dubbed Uncle Traveling Matt, is a reference to the traveling Matt or mate technique used with blue screen to give the impression of a character is somewhere they are not. Gobo is named after a shaped metal grill placed over a theater light to produce interesting shadows, such as window shapes, leaves, etc. And red is a reference to a, you guessed it, redhead. But of course, that's a different redhead, with another name for an 800-watt film light. Now, the Fraggles are typically 18 inches, which is 46 centimeters tall, that come in a variety of colors and have fur tough tipped tails. They live a generally carefree life, spending most of their time. They have a 30-minute work week, playing, exploring, and generally enjoying themselves. They live mainly on radishes and doozer sticks, made of ground up radishes and the material with which the doozers build their constructions. The Fraggles seek wisdom from Marjorie the trash heap, who is located in a corner of the Gorg's garden. Marjorie the trash heap is a large matronly sentient compost heap. According to her rat-like companions, Philo and Gunge, the trash heap knows all and sees all. By her own admission, she has everything. Now, the doozers are, well, they live as a second species of small humanoid creatures. They're pudgy, they're green and industrious. They stand about 6 inches, which is 15 centimeters tall, knee high to a Fraggle. They are, in a sense, the opposite of Fraggles. Their lives are dedicated to working in industry, and they spend much of their time busily constructing all manner of scaffolding throughout Fraggle Rock, using miniature construction equipment and wearing hard hats and work boots. Doozers build their constructions out of an edible candy-like substance manufactured from radishes, which is greatly enjoyed by Fraggles. This is essentially the only interaction between the two. Doozers spend most of their time building just for the sake of it, and Fraggles spend much of their time eating doozer buildings, which they consider delicious. Actually, they say in an early episode that architecture is meant to be enjoyed. And in one episode, Moki prevents the other Fraggles from eating the building work, believing it to be insensitive to the Doozers. As a result, the Doozer building eventually takes over Fraggle Rock, and once full, the Doozers plan on moving out as they have nowhere left to build. Yep. Plus lots of other things. But anyway, there are several Doozers that come into the scene to talk with them. Then there's the Gorgs. Outside and their exit from Fraggle Rock live a small family of these creatures. Fat, furry humanoids standing about 180 inches, which is 4.6 meters. The husband and wife of the family, Paul and Ma, consider themselves the king and queen of the universe, with their son, Junior, as its prince and heir apparent. But to all appearances, they are simple farmers with a rustic house and garden patch. In one episode, the Gorg who would be king, Paul says he has ruled for 742 years. Fraggles are considered pests by the Gorgs, as they often steal radishes from the garden. The Fraggles do not consider it stealing, but the Gorgs use radishes to make anti-vanishing cream, without which they disappear head first. And Junior's always after them. And then finally, the silly creatures of outer space. Now, in the North American, French, and German versions of the series, along with most other foreign dubs, the connection between Fraggle Rock and outer space is a small hole in the wall of the workshop of an eccentric inventor, which we've already mentioned about, Doc, and his Doc Sprocket, which of course is a Muppet. In the British version, the situation is much the same, except that the hole leads into the living quarters of a lighthouse, and you know that. Gobo must go out into Doc's workshop to retrieve the postcards from his uncle Traveling Matt from the wastebasket where Doc throws them. Yeah, assuming they are misdelivered, because he doesn't know that Fraggles even exist until the final two episodes of the series. Traveling Matt is exploring the wider world, observing humans and reporting humorously false conclusions about their everyday behavior. And Sprocket often sees and chases Gobo, but can't convince Doc anything lives beyond the wall. And the two have many similar miscommunications throughout the series, given the language barrier, but overall they understand each other quite well. In the final episode arc of the original series, North American version, Doc himself finally meets Gobo and befriends him. Gobo tells Doc that Fraggles refer to humans as silly creatures and apologizes. And Doc tells him that he thinks that it is a very good name for humans. Unfortunately, in the final episode, Doc and Sprocket have to move to another state, mainly the desert, but the Fraggles discover a magic tunnel that allows them to visit Doc and Sprocket's new home easily at any time. So that's that. So Fraggle Rock is exceptionally a very fun-filled series and has great stories, great music, and great characters. The series originally ran for an overall total of 5 seasons, but however, in the production numbers, it only went from 100 to 400, so it was 4 seasons entirely as it would be presented on Apple TV, which I'll get to in a bit. But anyway, an overall total of 96 episodes were produced and aired. And I've seen all of them more recently on Apple TV, and what can I say? They brought back great memories. I must say they were really good. I did watch this when it aired on HBO originally. And the show ended in 1987. However, later that same year, the Fraggles would be back in a new animated series on NBC Saturday morning lineup, which I'll talk about that in my Saturday morning TV log this Saturday morning. Stay tuned for that. The following year, however, in 1988, it ran on, yes, you would believe it, the channel TNT. Yes, from day one when it started in October of 1988. And it ran for until about sometime in the early 90s. Disney Channel picked up the show to be rerun from 92 to 96. The last time it was aired from 99 to 2001, it went to the Odyssey Network pre-Hallmark Channel. But after Hallmark took control, the show vanished and wasn't seen again until the Hub pre-Discovery Family Channel picked it up and aired it from October 2010 as part of the channel's launch until October 2014. It got rerun numerous times and what have you. But as of this day, the show has not been seen on TV anymore. But more recently, in 2015, a remastered version of their Christmas episode, The Bells of Fraggle Rock, aired, along with a remastered version of Henson's 1977 classic M&R's Shut Band Christmas aired on ABC Family pre-Freeform as part of the 25 Days of Christmas. And then soon came part of HBO Now, which that's now no longer available. And in 2016, HBO Family made that also rest in peace, picked up for reruns. Please stand by. Okay, now where was I? Oh, yes. Now in 2019, Fraggle Rock debuted along with the Henson classic content on Prime Video in North America and other places. But in the next year, in May of 2020, Apple TV Plus, which that no longer has the plus, announced that alongside a series order for a reboot, they had acquired the exclusive streaming rights to the previous seasons in the 100 countries the service is available in, making the series the first piece of non-original content available on the service. So that's pretty good. That's where I saw all of them. It has been released on physical media in numerous forms internationally in Australia, the UK, and the US. Of course, HBO Video originally put them out. And then later on through Jim Henson Video, and back when Buena Vista picked it up. Hit Entertainment, which of course that was Henson, was the name of Henson's company. Henson International Television, I think it was. Yes, that's what it was. Okay, that's had released DVDs of it. In 2009, Lionsgate released it, but there were numerous ways. In 2013, Vivendi Visual Entertainment acquired the license to release the series, and all seasons were re-released, as well as a complete series set for the series' 30th anniversary. More recently, in 2018, Sony announced that they would be releasing the complete series on Blu-ray in honor of the show's 35th anniversary. They had all episodes, including a, some new material which include a 1993 Today Show segment with Uncle Traveling Matt, a series of on-set videos with the late great Jim Henson from archive footage, as well as the complete animated series of the Fraggle Rock series. Now, of course, the first 4 seasons, now, well, as they were originally bundled, because later on they combined them a few episodes from the 4th season to the 3rd season together. Because, let me explain, because the first 2 seasons had 24 episodes produced and aired, while the third had only 22. So eventually they eased in 2 episodes from season 4 to go in with that to make the 3rd season, as those were 2 episodes that I'm pretty sure were produced by then. The rest of season 4 and season 5 were combined together to form a 4th and final season for physical media, and so I trust you now know that. Also, after Fraggle Rock ended, not only did they have their animated series, they also appeared in the special A Muppet Family Christmas. And also, there was also a computer animated spin-off from the Jim Henson Company and DHX Media that aired on Hulu in 2014 called The Doozers. There was to be a feature film, but it got canceled. In 2020, Apple TV, still Apple TV Plus, premiered a new weekly live-action short series called Fraggle Rock, Rock On. And then soon after that, it proved to be successful. They brought the Fraggles back in a brand new series called Fraggle Rock, Back to the Rock. So eventually, I've never watched it, but I did watch the brand new Christmas special that Apple TV had premiered called The First Snow of Fraggle Rock, which I thought that was pretty fun. Now then, oh, this show was so good. It had lots of great music and what have you. There was even an album that came out in 2007 called Fraggle Rockin', a collection that included all sorts of songs from the series. Please stand by. Now the for the players for playing the Fraggles, we have Jerry Nelson performing Gobo, who was really a good one. Catherine Mullen did Moki. Wembley was done by Steve Whitmire. Boober was done by Dave Goells. And Red was done by Karen Prell, who actually returned to do Red in the current Fraggle Rock series. Dave Goells also performs as Uncle Traveling Matt. And there's lots of other Fraggles, the Ancient Fraggles, and there's the Cave Fraggles. Oh, the list goes on for these critters. I'm just giving you the main cast and what have you. There's all sorts of doozers and what have you, but only a few appeared in the series, like Architect Doozer, performed by Jerry Nelson, and one being one seen mostly, Cotterpin, a rebellious young female doozer voiced by Catherine Mullen. And there's lots of other doozers, but there's too many to mention. For the Gorgs, Gord Robertson performed as Pa Gorg. Ma Gorg was performed by Trish Leeper, and Rob Mills did Jr. for the first 4 seasons, and Frank Mushkuit, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, did season 5. Jerry Nelson performed as Marjorie the Trash Heap, while Dave Goelz and Richard Hunt did Philo and Gunge. Now, for the characters of these, we have Doc, played by Gerard Parks, and Steve Whitmire originally did Sprocket for the series, and I've already mentioned the other ones. But there's tons of other characters out there, so now you know about that. Excuse me, please stand by again just one more time. Here's a shot of all the Fraggles you'll see, most of them, including the main core cast of Fraggles. Here's a picture of Boober, Moki, and Wimbley along with the Doozers. Here's a look at one of the guards. You'll realize that this one's Junior. And here's a shot of Marjorie, the trash heap. Now, if you've seen the show, I'm sure you know the rest of the characters look like Uncle Traveling Matt, Doc, and Sprocket, and all the others. So now you know about the original Fraggle Rock itself. Maybe I might talk about the spin-offs later on down the road if I decide to look into them. But stay tuned for this Saturday. I will be talking about the animated series of Fraggle Rock. So, what did you think of the original Fraggle Rock? Did you ever grow up watching this? I'm sure a lot of you did. If so, tell me in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, click the bell icon for more from me, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel. You know the rest. And next time, I'll be bringing to you a review of A Flintstone Christmas Carol. Also, I'm going to give you a heads up. I'm going to give a bonus review on Christmas Eve night, but I'm going to let you pick what Christmas Carol you want. I'm going to give you only 2 choices. You have a choice of Scrooge from 1970 or A Christmas Carol from 1984 with George C. Scott. Okay? Good. Now that you know about that, that's good. Let's end this video. This is probably going to be the longest TV log I've done yet. So if you like this, check out some of these other works of Jim Henson. Check out my Saturday morning TV log on Muppet Babies from 1984 in the upper left-hand corner. In the upper right-hand corner, you can check out my Saturday morning TV log of a series that was done after his death, and that was Dog City, another Saturday morning TV log. Or you can go to the bottom left-hand corner, and you can see my review of A Muppet Family Christmas from 1987. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe if you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., as well as the TV log. Then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.